Venus Austin is Director of Marketing and Digital Strategy for Emory's Division of Advancement and Alumni Engagement. And we are here today. I'm going to have a conversation with her. Some of you have met her at previous events, but we're going to have a conversation, and then we will head into our third and final breakout room so that we can talk about related prompts on Marcom. We know it's a subject near and dear to everyone's heart. And then make sure you stay on the line because I see Steve Greenfield's here. We are wrapping up the conference with a segment from university board members who are going to talk to us about leadership pathways. So that one is especially in your best interest to join because they'll give you some tips to consider whether you continue serving on Emory boards or boards outside in your community. All right, Venus, thank you for being here today.
Yes, no, thank you for having me. I was telling Denise while we were waiting, it's been a long time since I've been to a leadership conference. I think the last time was a couple of years ago. We were in person and we were in Chicago. So yeah, it was.
Don't say that, Venus, because everyone's wondering when those conferences are coming back. But we are, just a reminder to everyone who did previously attend those regional leadership conferences, we now have the Emory Leadership Summit on campus. And some of you participated this year. We had a lot of fun, and we are hoping to expand the number of board members so we can bring back to campus for that. And then we've got to find other ways to get together in the regions. But to Venus's point, she started her Emory career, which is going on 10 years. She started it on the regional team at the Alumni Association, and she used to manage Emory Cares too. So she is a big champion for Emory Network. She knows about all the things y'all are dealing with and the amazing accomplishments that you all have put forward. So Venus, thank you for being here. It's been a busy year for the marketing team. And I want to make sure that we can hear your insights on this ever evolving area. So we were just talking about community engagement in our last breakout room and what we learned during COVID and how we might do things a little bit differently this year. Talk to us about what that meant for you all on the marketing side and how it impacts your marketing strategies moving forward.
Yeah, so just like every industry and everyone, we learned a lot during COVID, and we had to pivot quickly because of COVID and just the changing landscape, especially with marketing and comms. But I was thinking of a way to kind of put it in like a sentence or kind of like a nutshell type of thing, so that as I kind of go through it, it kind of will start to make sense, but it's a nugget that you can kind of keep. And it was basically, the biggest thing is like going back to the basics and focusing in on our community, our audience, and less on call to actions. And in marketing, that's just like telling people what you want them to do. And so when I say that, and I kind of break that statement down into the key parts that I saw, changes that we kind of needed to make, it was really this appetite for digital experience and not just digital presence. We, even before COVID, every company, every kind of entity has a website, social media, they were having webinars. We were having webinars prior to COVID. What shifted after COVID and what we're seeing currently is this expansion of experience. And experience in the sense of accessibility. So people want it now, they want it fast. Connection and convenience. And connection and convenience are two kind of key things that it's just reoccurring. And I think it was just birthed out of this fact that during COVID, the only way that you were really able to connect and, have access to people was in a digital space. So now that we're kind of having events in person, we're kind of going back outside, that still didn't change the landscape of people still wanting that convenience of connection. And so definitely affected the digital kind of landscape in that space. Also, information sharing and storytelling, it has been huge. So people are not just looking for us to be promotional. They want to have behind the scenes showcasing of information, the why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we asking them to participate in things that we're telling them to participate in? And why are we talking to them? Why do they see us, AKA on their feeds? They've become very savvy and they want to know the why. And so, Sarah, we talk about this all the time. We call it like the content continuum.
Yep.
I like to call it the loop, and keeping folks in the loop. And that's basically that everything is connected. We want to build off of the experiences that we are able to create and keep the conversation going. So that might look like if we have someone attend an event, we send a thank you message afterwards, but then what's next? How do we keep them engaged, and how do we keep them kind of fulfilled in terms of feeling like they have the information at their fingertips, that they're in the loop, they still feel connected? And so I know we've been talking a lot about that. And that kind of leads into my last point, which is meeting people where they are. And so there's this concept I've been researching over the last couple of months, because it really showed itself during COVID, and it's called localizing experiences. And during COVID, what you saw, we couldn't go anywhere. So when you were going to restaurants, you were in your communities, you were in your local communities, we weren't traveling, we were in our areas. And so that hasn't really left. So people are still loving the intimacy of their communities and being able to participate in local activities. But also from a marketing and comm space, it's making sure that we tailor our messages and our content and things that we're asking them to do to their location. And so that, it, of course, leads into relationship building. Relationship building hasn't really changed. It's always been a thing, but it's even more so now. It goes back to the statement I made about connection, and people are not just basically buying what you're pushing out. They want to know, why are you talking to me? What's in it for me?
Absolutely. And I know, but I know, because I know we're not done with this question yet, but I just want to say this, it really resonates with everything we were just talking about in the community building session. Our volunteers brought up a lot about how they need to clearly articulate the why, or make sure they're bragging on the network, because we need to be visible. And there needs to also be a next step after the event to keep people in the fold,
Yes.
introduce them to other members, get them to do something else. It's not just about a series of events. So I think all of this relates to what we need to do at the network level as well.
Yeah, no, it's we're beyond transactions now. It's experiences and relationship building, even in our space, right? So that kind of leads into our strategies very quickly. What we've done on the marketing side, Sarah, your team has been very helpful in providing feedback with this area, but we have new regional emails. We are debuting those. Some of you will be able to see them in July. And I'm super, super excited about them because they touch on all of the things I just mentioned. So localizing experiences, being personal, and also being able to do it at scale. So that's our way of trying to be savvy, trying to reach people where they are, but also do it in a way that's utilizing our resources in the best way possible. So it is a new design. It's absolutely stunning. Our design team did an incredible job. It looks so fun, y'all. Like it really, not even from a marketer, like just being excited because it looks good, but I think you guys will really love the look and feel of it. And feel like it's like a personal digest to you specifically. So those will be launching in July, and we hope to evolve those. So would love to hear your feedback, as per usual, on those as you get them.
And they're not starting in all cities right away, but no, that is our hope. So we have to do a slow rollout. So we will forward them on to you if you're not in those the cities with the largest numbers of alumni, but know that we're working on making sure they can expand.
Yes, yes, yes. Starting off small to make sure we work out the kinks and then be able to expand. Landing pages, we know that those haven't really been really up to par in terms of the content that's on them. Like I said before, we want to lean into storytelling. We want these regional landing pages to be a hub of information for specific to your area. And so I was able to preview that kind of layout with Sarah, and kind of excited about those rolling out in the next couple of months and for you guys to see it. And then of course, more connection with what you guys are doing in the regions and how we're able to showcase that on our central communication and marketing channels. So yeah.
Fantastic. And yes, so much to keep unpacking because of of the things you said and what we need to talk about bringing down to our level too. So let's talk about what you've seen work at the central level this year, some of the trends that you're going to lean into.
Yeah, no, so across the board, this sounds very thematic, but I swear it basically solidifies the points I made in the beginning. But what we've noticed is increased engagement whenever we share alumni stories. Alumni want to see their folks shining. They love to hear what they're doing in the regions. They want to see what they're doing out in the world. They get encouraged by it. They get excited. They want to celebrate it. That is consistent. I'm sharing benefits. So this goes back to the what's in it for me. Alumni love benefits, really showcasing the benefits of being connected to Emory after graduation, right? So what do they get? And like I said, with the kind of pivoting emails that we're doing and content, personalization. So people want to feel this intimacy with brands, and we are not immune to that. So, and we're kind of stepping back a little bit and not thinking that just because Emory alumni graduated from Emory, they still have that intimacy, if that makes sense. We kind of have to earn that in the space, meet them where they are currently. So that's what we learned.
Absolutely. We were just talking about that. There's definitely apathy out there. So we have to combat it. All right, so let's bring this back to the networks. Where do you advise our fantastic board members to focus their attention this year when it comes to marketing and communications, which I know we've been talking about how we really need to frame that as community engagement, not marketing and communication. So within the community engagement space, where do you think they should focus their attention?
Yes, so I'm happy you said that, because that fits in perfectly to what I'm about to say. I'm gonna share 3 points. And the reason why Sarah, we've been talking about this kind of shift in thinking from community engagement and then marketing and communications. We have a whole team of marketing and communication people at Emory for a reason. We do the boring, exciting to me, but boring to some work. And we do all the technical kind of behind the scenes things. So we don't necessarily want you guys to do that. We want you guys to lean into your expertise as alumni and share your voice. So that's my number one point, is to share your voice, share your authentic voice and how you have been able to interact with Emory after graduating as alumni. So for example, what that could look like, let's use Emory Cares. So from EAA, from marketing, it may look like, hey, join us November X, Y, and Z for projects all around the world. Click this link in our bio and register. We do provide language to you guys in the toolkit. You guys probably have seen that before, and you can copy and paste that. You could, but what I would love to see you guys do is go further. You have participated in Emory Cares before, maybe even as a student. So then instead of taking our marketing jargon and just pasting that into your profiles or into emails and just talking to fellow alumni, it may look like, hey, I'm Venus Austin. I participated in the Atlanta Community Food Bank this year. I brought my family. I was able to introduce my brother to some of my friends at Emory and some of the people I've been hanging out with for years. And we were able to give back to the community. Here's some photos, here's a video, here's how we were able to make an impact. Join me this year. I'm going back to Atlanta Community Food Bank. DM me or send me a message to learn how you can participate.
Way less boring. I love it.
So it's more conversational, right? You're not gonna, because technically you're not even technically, you're not going to go to an event in person and talk to a fellow alum and say, hey, join me on Saturday at 7 p.m. or whenever it is. You're going to say, hey, I participated last year and it was great. Like I brought my kids, I brought my husband, whatever the case may be. And it was fantastic.
Well, real talk, what does Emory Cares mean? Because we throw out all these names and it's like, I don't know what that means.
Exactly. So that's number one, share your authentic voice, throw out the marketing jargon. We got you covered on that.
And use authentic photos, right, Venus? Because you said that those posts have way higher views and click rates.
They do. Like our graphics are great on our profile, right? Even on our profile, we want to kind of shift to more user generated content or content from you guys. So we're making that shift. So I would love to see you guys make that shift. That's number one. So that's why we're kind of parking there a little bit. Very quickly with social media, same type of concept. Use social media, namely the Facebook groups that you guys are running or helping to run, like you would do it personally. So this might look like, because we're all about talking about community building, right? So for example, if I'm an Atlanta alum, I may say something like, oh my God, because there's a restaurant you guys that just opened in Atlanta. It's like a rooftop experience. It's called Leave of Absence. So if you're in the Atlanta area, definitely, I have not been, but walk with me. So I may say something like, oh my God, went to Leave of Absence this weekend with some friends. It was incredible. It's a new restaurant, rooftop style in Midtown. 10 out of 10 would recommend you guys coming. Maybe if I go next weekend, you guys can join me, DM me, send me a message or text me if you guys want to go and meet up. So there's still the community, but it's not necessarily tied to something that Sarah's team is producing, right? Or something official. It's just about engaging with your fellow alumni like you would anyway, right? So that's kind of my spiel on social, and then engage with the bigger EAA social media channels. Kevin Kell made a comment on our Facebook a couple of weeks ago, and it was about the our CCA members. And he helped really boost that post. Like he wrote this kind of longish comment, but it was incredible.
Kevin writes really long Facebook posts, but they're authentic.
But
so
they're
I read them all.
Exactly. I was just about to say that, Sarah. I was engaged because I know Kevin. Hint, hint, hint. You guys know each other. So I know Kevin, I know his style. And so I was like, oh my God, like I love Kevin. I want to like see what he has to say. And it was great. So I encourage alumni to do the same. To just, if you see a comment and you want to answer, go ahead and comment and answer on the larger profiles. Or you see a post and it resonates with you, or you have a personal experience with it, comment, tag a friend and say, hey, check this out, or something like that, or share it. So really just community, shifting the thinking from marketing to just community.
Yes, absolutely. We absolutely want to embrace that. And so last question, somebody mentioned TikTok, so I'm going to bring it up. We know Facebook is the dinosaur of the social media party, and a lot of our volunteers hear from their members that that's not where they are. Yet I know our data suggests otherwise. So what is your recommendation for what we do with Facebook and how we might explore other platforms?
Someone said Instagram, TikTok. Yes. No, and Sarah, we talked about this too. I am intrigued. I'm very, my interests have been piqued, and I will say this. Yes, the data still shows. So basically what the data is showing is that the growth is starting to decline for younger audiences. So folks who are below the ages of 25 and below, and they're increasing for folks who are 25 and up. However, the growth on Facebook has kind of dropped because the growth that we're seeing with folks who are 25 and up is not fast enough to combat the fact that we don't have a lot of younger audiences adopting Facebook. So just kind of want to provide that kind of stat or piece of information. However, as I'm thinking about new channels, even for us as a central entity, because we're looking to join TikTok as well, we're always thinking about the return on investment and how we can make an impact. So what is the value add? Because, and I say this because different profiles, you have to do different things. So for TikTok, for it to grow and really you create an engaging community, you have to post maybe 2 or 3 times a day. That's the just the entry point of it. But you can't just post anything on TikTok, right? To get that traction, you have to post TikTok related things or common things, which is at this point is entertainment or tutorials. That's what you're seeing that. And yes, like Wendy said, with trending music. And so when I think about alumni adopting that, I'm also thinking how we can maintain it and how we can do it at scale. How can we be consistent? Because what I'm seeing is, and because I've seen some of the Instagram accounts that our region have created, and a lot of them are great. But what I am seeing is that there's a lack of consistency there. So the growth gets stagnant. And so now people aren't seeing those posts, and now people are engaging with those posts. So now we have Facebook groups 2.0. But
Mhm.
now our footprint has grown. So not only do we have Facebook groups that are stagnant, we have Instagram that's stagnant. We have a TikTok channel.
Alumni don't know which one they should actually follow.
Exactly. And so that's because that's my marketing strategy brain going, right? So it's not that I don't want us to be where we need to be. It's I want us to be where we need to be when we can add value and do it consistently and do it
Mhm.
strategically.
I think that is a fantastic point to end on, because I think that applies to anything we do. And our volunteers were just speaking about that, even with setting up the tone of how they're going to communicate with their own board, setting
Yeah.
that up in the same way. So I know there are fantastic questions. Venus generously makes herself available to this group, so she can always come back. But know that Amanda Walker, who's currently on maternity leave, is our Associate Director of Marketing and Digital Strategy under Venus. And she works directly with our network board members in offering trainings throughout the year. She will send you all resources via email. So please know that she'll be back in August. You'll be hearing from her throughout the year, and we can always bring Venus back for a specific training with you all after you tell us what topics you want to know more about. So Venus, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. This was fun.